Welcome back to Jet Lag, everybody. Enjoy the show. Episode 11. Welcome back to Jet Lag. So the title of this video is some big news. We'll get into that in a little bit. But what we got on the agenda today is I'll be talking about the future of the show. A little bit of foreshadowing right there. Our season predictions, kind of like the schedule game. Whenever you guess how many wins and losses your team will have, aka the Jets. Stat predictions, I'll be doing a couple of our offensive guys and what I think their stats could look like this year. And then some of my overall NFL predictions. So let's get into, to start, the future of the show. So the reason I say I have some big news is not because there's some crazy news that the Jets are going to make and they're always making some nutty moves. Not this season, though. They've been pretty much flying under the radar, which I kind of like. But as the school year, and obviously this is my senior project, and I'm graduating a month from today when I'm filming this, which is Thursday. The podcast should be out tonight or tomorrow at some point. And the reason I say I have some big news is I'm going to be taking a break from making podcasts. This is my senior project. The year is coming down to a close. I got some other stuff that I need to deal with. Obviously, getting ready for the summer. I'm a senior. I'm graduating. So, as of right now, I'll be taking a little break. I am hopeful that I will resume making podcasts. I definitely want to try and do one after the draft, just for fun, even if it's a little 10-minute segment talking about who we got. And I think that would be pretty cool. But as of right now, this will be the last episode for at least probably roughly a month. And then hopefully at some point in May, when the schedule actually does get released, by that time, May 10th, May 17th, hopefully by the latest Memorial Day weekend, we have a new episode. I know it's a little bit of a break, but that's okay. And, there's really not much going on anyway besides the draft in 2 weeks from today. So that's just a little bit of housekeeping. Had a lot of fun doing this, especially TikToks. If you haven't followed that, link in the description to all the socials, obviously my Twitter, my personal Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. But yeah, I had a lot of fun doing this. I'm definitely looking forward to doing it when I get situated at my house, my hometown house. And yeah, let's just get right into it. This will be kind of a quick one. Just not a lot to get into right now. I know there's a lot of draft smoke. The Jets really haven't been. There's some smoke about Genty going to the Jets. I'm not going to really touch on that. I think that's kind of maybe a trade-up spot for someone to look at. I'm going to touch on this briefly. Maybe if the Raiders pass on Genty, and, the smoke's out there that the Jets are, quote-unquote, interested in drafting Ashton Genty, that could allow a team like the Bears, the Cowboys to try and jump the Jets or trade up with the Jets. The Cowboys, Bears, both looking for a running back, a playmaker. But I personally think that's smoke. The Jets have three pretty young running backs, and I don't believe trading Breece for assets and then drafting Genty is the most efficient way to go in the draft at this point in the offseason, at this point in the team construction. The optics of it just don't make sense to me. And that draft pick would be hard to compartmentalize. So the first segment of the night will be season predictions, kind of the schedule game. And I have right here the Jets. I have right here the Jets season. I have the Jets. Holy shit. I have the Jets 2025-2026 season opponents. Obviously, this record prediction can change when the schedule comes out because it doesn't factor teams coming off a bye, divisional games, home, away, going on a long road trip to the West Coast, or even, teams coming off a rough loss, teams coming off a high win. And obviously the Jets are scheduled to have a London game, which kind of stinks for fans. But yeah, so right here I have their home opponents. We got Bills, Dolphins, Patriots, Steelers, Browns, Broncos, Cowboys, Falcons, Panthers, the away opponents, obviously Bills, Dolphins, Patriots, Ravens, Bengals, Jaguars, Bucks, and Saints. AFC North, NFC South are our opponents. And then we got the Cowboys. I guess that's just a random game. Or the Cowboys were third, so I don't know. I don't know how it works out, but yeah. So as of right now, this is my overall prediction. This is my specific prediction. And obviously I want this team, my heart wants this team to make the playoffs next year. But if we're being honest, that's not realistic for a new head coach, kind of a new roster. It's the NFL. There's a lot of parity, and you could suck one year. You could go 1-16, and then make the playoffs the next year. I would love that, but you only see that once in a blue moon. You know, you kind of saw it with the Niners. You saw the rebuild with the Lions. The Bengals. Joe Burrow turned them into a contender the past couple of years. I know last year was kind of a fluke. He was dealing with injury. Their defense was weak. But yeah, a coaching change could shift the momentum in the Jets' favor. But right now, I'm going to go over their home opponents, who I think, this is my official prediction as of April 10th, 2025, before the draft, before the schedule release. So take this however you will with a grain of salt. So the Jets' home opponents, I have the Bills. I think they're going to lose to the Bills. They're going to be 0-2 against the Bills. I just think Josh Allen's way too good. That's really what it comes down to. Obviously, they beat the Bills a couple years ago with Zach Wilson. They play the Bills tough. Josh Allen does play kind of down to the Jets. Only in MetLife, though, I feel like he always smokes the Jets when we're up in what's their stadium? I don't know, Orchard Park or whatever it is in Buffalo. He always crushes us, it feels like. We never win in Buffalo. But yeah, I have them losing to the Bills at home, 0-1. I have them beating the Dolphins at home. I think something about the Dolphins I don't like. I think Aaron Glenn and this team could definitely beat the Dolphins at home, especially if it's later in the season and it's colder out and you have Tua, who cannot play in the cold at all. I have the Jets beating the Patriots at home. I still don't think the Patriots are anything special. Obviously, Mike Vrabel can change that whole culture, and I do expect the Patriots to be a tough game. But I think the Jets will beat them at home. So right now, they're 2-1. Trust me, it doesn't get much better here. But so yeah, and then I have the Steelers. This would be a very interesting game. They sit 2-1. It's not in order of the schedule, but I have them losing to the Steelers. This would suck because they're home, and all signs point to Aaron Rodgers going to the Steelers, walking into MetLife, and probably beating the Jets on primetime. This would be a great primetime game as Justin Fields, former Steeler, Aaron Rodgers, former Jet. That could be a really good game. A lot of animosity there. Aaron Rodgers with a chip on his shoulder. I do think they lose. I think the Steelers' defense will be too much in that game. TJ Watt's just an absolute X factor. So this has them at 2-2. I have them beating the Browns. I think the Browns stink. That's what it comes down to. I don't think the Browns are good. Their roster is just kind of depleted. They don't really have a solution at quarterback as of right now. Who knows what they'll do at 2? A lot of reports are coming out that they aren't looking to take quarterback, but I wouldn't be surprised if they take Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward if they're both sitting there. So I have them at 3-2 right now. Broncos home, L. I just think the Broncos are a really good team, and coming off that really good year, I still think they're going to have a lot of momentum. Sean Payton, Bo Nix in year 2. Obviously, sophomore slump could be a thing. I just think the Broncos are a really well-coached team. Sean Payton, really good coach. 3-3. Cowboys L. I think Dak coming back. Brian Schottenheimer, former Jets OC. I just think the Cowboys, better quarterback. I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets beat them, though, in MetLife. I could see this game being a coin flip. I could see... It's weird, though, because Jets play 17 games, and this is kind of on a sidebar, on a tangent. There's at least... I could see them beating the Bills. I could see them beating the Steelers. I could see them beating the Broncos. I could see them beating the Cowboys. I could see them beating the Bucks. I could see them beating the Bengals. I can't really see them beat. Actually, take that back. I could see them beating the Bucks. I can't see them beating the Bengals and Ravens. There's really only 2-3 games where I rule them out, just because quarterback play and roster construction. To be completely honest, talent wise, but they could be in every game this year if the coaching is drastically different. And by drastically different, I mean better. So this is just my prediction. Anything could happen. Kind of reiterated that a bunch already. But yeah, I have them. What I do? Losing to the Cowboys. So right now they're 4-3. Have them beating the Falcons at home. I still think the Falcons are a young team. Obviously, they have some pretty young stars. They're kind of in the similar situation with the Jets. I do think the Jets have more talent than them on the defensive side of the ball. I'm going to give them a win there. And I'm going to give them a win at the Panthers. I still think the Panthers are kind of a bottom 5, bottom 8 team in the league. Pretty self-explanatory. So obviously home, I have them going 5-4, which would be nice to have a winning record at home, Going 2-1 at home in the division would be nice. That's kind of high expectations. You got to win some games in the division. So yeah, 5-4, 9 games home. Obviously, one of those is going to be in London. Probably, I think it's against the Browns. Hopefully, they could win that game. So 5-4, and then I'll go to away. I had them losing to the Bills. Like I said, I just don't see us beating the Bills in Buffalo. It feels like it never happens the past couple of years. 5-5. Losing the Dolphins away, I just think they split with the Dolphins, to be completely honest. They could win that game. So this will make, I think they're 5-6 now. Yeah. I have them beating the Patriots in Foxborough. I do think the Jets are going to go 2-0 against the Patriots this year. That could just be me thinking high expectations and, new coach. Obviously, the Patriots have a lot of momentum this offseason, hiring a new coach. High expectations with Mike Vrabel. But I think the Jets steal 2 from the Patriots this year. I don't think they're going to split with them. I think the Jets roster's a lot better than the Patriots, regardless of the free agents they brought in, whether they're overpaid or not. I do think the Jets go 2-0 against the Patriots. I hate the Patriots. I have them at, what is that? 5-4, 6-4, 6-6. If they're 6-6 through 12 weeks in the season, I'm probably thrilled. The next couple of games are tough. Ravens, pretty self-explanatory. I think the Ravens are just too good. They're probably going to be back in the AFC Championship game, divisional round at least. They're just can't get over that hump. Ravens are gross. Lamar's probably has a chance at MVP, and so does Joe Burrow. Bengals, I'm going to give them an L there, going to Baltimore and Cincinnati. AFC North is a powerhouse. Those 2 losses, 6-8. And then Jaguars have them beating. I don't think the Jaguars are going to be good at all next year. I would not be surprised if they have another top 5 pick. Going down to Jacksonville, whatever. Could be in London, I think. I don't know what the optics are on that. But what are they, 7-8? And, yeah, the last 2 games, Bucks, they could beat them. I don't know. Their team is pretty decent. They made the playoffs last year. Did they? Yes, they did. They playoff team. They're 6-9. No. 7-9. I just think the Bucks is a loss. Could be a win. Saints, I'm going to give them a win there. Quarterback plays iffy. I just think the Jets are a better team than the Saints. And, Aaron Glenn, kind of the Aaron Glenn Bowl. He's going to win that game. And my official prediction as of May 10th, 8-9. Could be 7-10. Could be 10-7. Could be 9-8. I genuinely think they win probably anywhere between 7 to 10 games. I'd be very underwhelmed and kind of surprised if this team wins anything less than 7 games. I think Aaron Glenn will change this culture by implementing just a totally different mindset to this team. Stop losing and just absolutely overhaul this organization. The Jets offered buyouts to just employees all over the place. I think it was like almost 2/3 of the building got offered a buyout just to refresh the building, which I like. It's dare I say, it's looking optimistic. It's on the come up. It's not up, but it's really low. So we're getting there. We'll get there, I hope. 8-9. I think their floor is 5-12. If they lose more than 12 games, 12 on the dot, more than 12, that's a serious problem. This team is way too good to be 5-12 again. I seriously think that's their floor. I'd be very surprised, but I do think that's their floor. And I think their ceiling's 10-7. I could totally see them winning the games that I said. I could see them taking one from the Bills. I could see them beating the Steelers, maybe the Cowboys, maybe the Broncos. It's just I'm not going to give them that when they haven't proved anything over the last couple of years. This team's going to have to earn their identity. So is Aaron Glenn. Earn the respect of the NFL. So before I give any of those matchups wins, I'm going to keep them at 8-9. Ceiling could be 10-7 if everything goes right. If Justin Fields is legit, that'd be awesome. And then some stat predictions. I'm going to kind of bust through this. Justin Fields, 2,900 yards. I kind of looked at his previous stats. I do think he's going to have more yards this year throwing. I think the rushing game is going to be option 1, 2, and 3. But I think that does open the passing game up. I think 2,900 is fine if you're a run-first team. I have him at 20 touchdowns. He's been hovering around there. I have 700 rushing yards for Justin Fields and 6 rushing TDs. So roughly 3,500 total yards for Fields, 26 total touchdowns, 6 rushing TDs I have him. And then I have 10 picks. He's been hovering around like 9 to 12 picks. If he could get that down and be more efficient, that'd be awesome. It's just that's my stat prediction. I think he's going to run the ball a lot. And speaking of running the ball, I have Breece Hall, 1,200 yards. I think he finally breaks that 1,000-yard threshold. If Breece Hall has less than 300 carries this year, something went terribly wrong. I have him at 10 touchdowns. I think he's bound to have a huge year, man. 400 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns, just 1,600 yards, 12 total touchdowns, be an absolute beast. Get him the ball at least 15, 20 times a game. You got to get Breece touches. And then I have Garrett Wilson kind of hovering around. I think he's going to get a lot more targets, a lot more touchdowns in the red zone. Or not even red zone, but he'll break more just because of that Justin Fields-Garrett Wilson connection from college. I think they're going to be on the same page at least most of the time. It seemed like Aaron Rodgers and Garrett were not on the same page a lot, but I think Justin Fields and Garrett Wilson both have the respect of each other since college where they'll get on the same page. Could be intimidating telling Aaron Rodgers that he made the mistake, but I think those guys will hold each other accountable and they know what it takes. They've played in big moments in college, and I think my stat prediction for Garrett's 90 catches, 1,200 yards, 9 touchdowns. That'd be a phenomenal year. And, here are my way too early predictions for the NFL season. A lot of this is chalk, I feel like, but some of these are bold. I think my rookie of the years are pretty chalk, but I have like kind of a twist on defensive rookie of the year. My Super Bowl prediction as of April 10th, 2025 is Bengals versus Packers, Super Bowl 60. I think for some reason I think the Lions take a step back, but they're still going to win the division. Maybe the Packers sneak up, but I do think the Lions won't be as strong next year. I think they'll still be a 10-plus win team. I think the Packers ultimately get the best of them. Packers ultimately get the best of the NFC. And then I think Joe Burrow probably should have won MVP last year if his team made the playoffs. He had like 40 touchdowns, an insane amount of yards. He's gross. If his team could if they make upgrades on defense, defensive coordinator, they made an addition, the Bengals could be really good, which is why I'm going to have the Bengals win the Super Bowl this year. I just think Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, I think they're due. Once they're back in the playoffs, I do think they'll be a threat. MVP Joe Burrow, I think that kind of breaks the trend of how MVPs have never won a Super Bowl. I don't know. It's something like that in the past couple of years, maybe ever. I don't know. Someone's got to stat check me on that. But I do think Joe Burrow wins MVP if the Bengals, are in the Super Bowl. I think he has a huge year that gets him through and over that hump. My Offensive Player of the Year with Dak back, we saw how good CeeDee Lamb would be. And I think CeeDee's going to have a monster season. New offense. Obviously, they're gonna add someone on offense in the draft, but I do think CeeDee Lamb's gonna have a huge year. Maybe not as good as Jamar Chase this year. Jamar Chase had the Triple Crown, which was an insane season, and how the Bengals didn't make the playoffs was insane. Their defense just sucked. But I do think CeeDee Lamb has a very, very, very good season that's kind of easy for people to be like, okay, he's in the Offensive Player of the Year conversation, maybe MVP. Never see a receiver win MVP, but if the Cowboys are good, Saquon was an MVP conversation. You saw how good he was. But if CD has like 1,700 yards, 13, 14, 15 touchdowns, he could be right up there, 100 catches, you know what I mean? So that's just my bold prediction. That's just a shot in the dark. Defensive Player of the Year, Max Crosby, kind of self-explanatory. He's been pretty insane. And then my Offensive Rookie of the Year, Ashton Genty, chalk. I get it. Running back. Could be Cam Ward, but I do think Ashton Genty's kind of like this Bijan where he's... Obviously, Bijan didn't get the touches he did his rookie year. I think if he did get the touches, he would have won Rookie of the Year. I forget who won Rookie of the Year that year, but I don't know. I just think Ashton Genty's a generational talent. And then Defensive Rookie of the Year, to wrap things up, I have the... So here it is. So I have Abdul Carter winning Defensive Rookie of the Year, but if Travis Hunter is a corner, I could see him being Defensive Rookie of the Year as well. But if he's mainly a receiver, he's definitely not going to get Defensive Rookie of the Year if he's only playing receiver or minimal snaps on defense. So that's my kind of twist. And he could also be in conversation to win Offensive Rookie of the Year if he's a receiver. Can he defy the odds and win Offensive Rookie and Defensive Rookie of the Year? That'd be one of the most impressive things probably in NFL history. That would be awesome. That means he probably had like 5 interceptions, insane amount of pass breakups, and like over 1,000 yards receiving, couple of touchdowns. He'd have to have an insane impact, insane year. And that would be probably one of the best years we've ever seen by a player, by a rookie. It would be unbelievable. I would love to see that. Obviously not for the Patriots, though. But that's about it, Last podcast for a little bit. Yeah. I'll catch all of you guys in a month, a couple weeks. And hopefully the Jets don't mess up the draft. Hopefully nothing happens that's too stressful with the Jets. And hopefully they don't mess up anything that's going well right now. Just stay out of the news. And hopefully that trends in the right direction. So I'll see you guys soon. And peace. That's the last podcast for a little bit.